What happens when you give a media personality and a sex therapist a podcast? You get Spill the Tea, a bold, unfiltered space where no topic is off limits, from sex and relationships to the messy, hilarious, and heartbreaking realities of life. Will Nash and Maria Orego serve up real talk with expert insight, hot takes, and a whole lot of tea.
I am so excited about this, and I love that we're still able to spill the tea, but it's a little bit different. This is kind of like a little bit of a deluxe bonus edition, if you will, on Spill the Tea today.
Ooh, deluxe bonus. I like it. Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to toss out back and forth a bunch of different scenarios, and we're going to put it to each other and just be like, we haven't pre-planned this. We haven't pre-discussed this. We have the scenarios here. We're going to put them out there. And then, whether we think it's a red flag or a green flag. And if you're watching this, feel free to write if you agree with me, disagree with Maria, whatever it is. If you think these things are red or green flags, or maybe one of each. So should I just start it off?
I love it. Yes, let's do it. Let's start with the red and green. Let's go.
Okay. So they never post about you on social media, but they post everything else. Yeah, we're both saying red and green because it depends, right? I mean, we're kind of coming from this world of understanding brands and whatnot, and some people will have a profile on Instagram for their business or for their personality, and then others will just everything's just all personal, everything's all out there. So if you don't post, I actually don't think that's a total red flag, not for me.
No, I agree. I actually don't think it's a red flag at all because unfortunately, the more people post about their partners, sometimes the more insecure they are about their partners. So maybe they're just trying to keep you in their private life and not in their public social media, like you said, brand life, right? Yeah, that's not I would need more context.
Yeah. It takes me back to our Valentine's Day bonus episode that we did about social media posting, right? Okay. They still talk to their ex as a friend, but they text daily. Yeah.
That's a red flag. That's a red flag.
I don't even think we need to even say any more than that.
No.
They always have their phone on Do Not Disturb when you're together.
Oh, I would need to. Ooh, that's a context one for me. Because is it do they have it on Do Not Disturb because they want to spend time with you and they're fully focused on who you are? Or do they have it on Do Not Disturb because they're hiding something?
That's exactly my thoughts as well. I'm kind of it's a bit of a divided one there too. They insist on splitting every bill 50-50, even if they make significantly more money. I think that's a red flag.
That's a red flag. Yeah, it's division of finances is proportional to your income. Yeah.
We would work really well together in a relationship.
Right.
They refuse to define the relationship but act like you're a couple. I'm gonna say that's a red flag.
Yeah, that's a red flag. Why not define it if you're already doing all the things? Yeah, red flag.
I think that's kind of a big sign because it's okay, are you just trying to use me? Essentially, you know what I mean? And then you're using several other people at the same time?
Yes. Yeah. Well, it also shows too, the level of maturity with commitment, right? Why can't a label be put on your relationship if you're not headed in that direction? And if you're not, well, then let that person go find somebody that is.
And I know you've said this on a number of podcast episodes before. It is so, I feel like I've learned this for my next relationship. It is so important to identify what your expectations are early on, or else you're going to be screwed. Or maybe you won't be screwed.
We don't want that. Oh my gosh. Okay, I've got some for you. Ready?
Go for it.
They only want to be intimate at night and never during the day.
I don't know. That's
I love how you're
of a red flag.
And green. You're green is showing a little bit.
The green's poking out a bit. It's so hard to say. It's why only at night? That's weird. Are you doing somebody else during the day? Sorry, I probably had too much caffeine before I recorded this podcast with you today.
That is the best. I love it because you'd probably ask your partner, like, hold on, were you doing someone else? Okay, I will say, I'm going to put both up because I need context. But in terms of like how our bodies work, we all do have like spikes in our arousal physically. So for some people, sex in the morning is like where their arousal peaks. And for other people, it's nighttime. So it doesn't always matter, but I would want to know more as to why this is happening.
Yeah, give me some reasoning behind this. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Okay. They expect you to initiate every time.
I think that's a red flag. That one's pretty black and white, right?
Yes, 100%. It should also be like, yeah, mutual, always mutual. They refuse to communicate about what they like or dislike in bed. Yep.
Again, it goes back to communication, right? Whether it's about your relationship or whether it's about the sex, you have to talk about it.
Yes. Okay, this one is spicy because there's so many flags. They don't believe in using protection or getting tested. So red.
Burning up. Like we're hot and we're sweaty right now. I mean,
oh my gosh.
I don't want a STI.
Okay, this one. They constantly compare you to past partners.
Red, baby.
That was a lot of reds.
A lot of red in that section.
I know a lot of reds. Okay.
All right, I have some for you too. So, they don't say I love you first, even after a long time together. They don't say I love you first. So you're always the one to say I love you every single time. They never initiate.
That's a red.
That's a red. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a red. There should be. Yeah. If you feel and you're acting out of love, you should be able to initiate that love you statement. Yeah.
They say they don't believe in marriage, but want a lifelong commitment. I don't think that's any flag. I think that there's some people who believe that they want to be in a long-term relationship, but they don't necessarily want to get married for whatever reason. I think that if someone says that they don't believe or they don't want to get married, I don't think that that's a red flag. I think that you can still be in a successful long-term relationship without the act of marriage.
I agree. I do agree with that for sure. You don't have to live under a like contract in that sense. Like you don't need to sign papers at what is it, like City Hall. I agree. I would need to know more, but I would agree that that is not a red or a green flag.
Okay, this is interesting because we hopefully will do a full episode on this at some point, but I love this conversation. They have a work wife that they text all of the time. I don't think there's anything wrong with having a work wife. Now, we're not putting a gender or an orientation on this work wife. I think that sometimes having a work wife, and when I say work wife, I don't mean like a partner that you're intimate, someone that you're intimate with in the office place. Yeah. I just mean that person who has like your back through everything, and maybe you spill a little bit of inter-office gossip with and all that. I don't necessarily think that that's a red flag. I really, really don't.
But isn't that a friendship though? Like that's different to me. I think we would define then work wife differely.
Okay, so what do you think it is? Because I know that I've had jobs before where I've had like people that I've worked with who I would be like, oh my God, I could not imagine working this job without that person being there. And like I actually had that instance, and it completely changed the trajectory of my job. Like, so I'm thinking like that. I'm not talking like someone that you're cheating on your partner with in the office. I just mean someone who is like your sort of backbone in the office.
Yeah, and I think there's a line. Like, there's like the work like wife that's like a bestie where like you're texting, you're gossiping, you're connecting with, you have like this really fun connection.
Yeah.
But I think there's also work wives that like tend to replace like emotional needs in the workplace.
Oh,
that's what I mean. So like when you have like a work wife at the office that's like maybe making you special muffins because they know that you like chocolate chips, or like is dressing a certain way to get your attention, or like dismisses your partner because they think they know more about you. That's the type of work wife I'm looking at. The like the evil like work
Yes.
wives, not the like bestie at work that, yeah, like, oh, if you're texting with your best friend from work and they're like that type of like healthy relationship, oh yeah, totally green light, green
Yeah,
flag.
yeah, that's more what I was thinking. I mean, hey, you know what? If they want to bake me some freshly baked banana bread, bring it on home. Bring it on home. Okay. They expect you to prioritize them over family and friends. Mm. Oh, this is a tough one because without even answering it yet, I feel like this. I need more context on this, right? I mean, I
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, that's a hard one. That's a hard one. You definitely need more context, like prioritize like all the time, as in like we're isolating and
Yeah.
we're not allowed to see friends and family, or if, yeah, if there's a date night and friends call, you prioritize the date.
Yeah, absolutely. No, yeah, I think within reason, it's like, okay, yes, you're obviously going to prioritize that person that you were in a relationship with. I would assume this is a longer term relationship the way they're talking, but there are going to be, and I don't know, I have a very close family. So I feel like even if I was in a relationship and if an emergency popped up and I had to drop, date night plans because one of my sisters needed me or my parents were sick, sorry, but dinner and a movie can wait.
Oh, for sure. But you also want to be with a partner that understands that, right? That
Yeah.
understands the difference between an emergency and just being blown off for something ridiculous. Yeah.
It's true. Okay, so another one for me here. They want to move in together after only a few weeks of dating. I'm going to say red flag.
It's a red flag. I would, based off of experience with a lot of my clients, I would say that it's not always a red flag, but yeah, I would err on the side of caution on that one.
I think for
Yeah.
me, it's because of what you said, but also because of the fact that I've lived on my own for so long. I just don't think it would take Prince frickin' Charming to waltz in here right now and for 3 weeks be like, okay, we're moving in together. Like,
Yeah. Also,
I,
though, we should do that. Okay, we should do a podcast episode, though, on living arrangements, because I've also heard of a lot of people wanting to move in with their partner because they're living in like not so great arrangements, or they're still
yeah.
living at home.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's a one-way ticket for that person.
A little bit, right? It's not so
Yeah.
much like, oh my God, I'm so in love with you that I can't wait to like move in with you. It's more so, I don't want to be living in my parents' basement, so I'm going to come live with you because you have a beautiful 3-bedroom house, right?
Yeah,
There's
that's true. I
also
guess.
that.
Yeah. No. I mean, we don't want to put everything on this, but it is a little situational.
Yeah, it definitely is. I love how all of these are situational
I know.
for us.
This is our way of getting out of it, and I think now you're going to take me into the spicier questions. I'm a little bit nervous.
Okay, all right, here we go.
I honestly had barely even read over these, so.
Oh my gosh, this is a good one. I didn't even read these ones before I'm saying them out loud. Okay.
Yep.
They suggest bringing a third person into the bedroom, but don't ask you how you feel about it first.
That's a red flag. You know what? If you want to bring someone in, if you want to open up your relationship, that's fine. We're all adults here, but you can't just, ding, 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 someone's at the door and it's like, oh, okay, didn't know you were coming over. No, that's a huge lack of respect for your partner.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that would be terrifying for someone. Imagine you're just kind of like hanging out, having dinner, and the third person pops in. It's like, oh, this person's joining us this evening. No, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
They have a roster of people they're dating, but swear you're their favorite.
I think if you know that's a red flag. That is a red flag. Because you obviously, I'm assuming this person knows that the other individual is dating a ton of people, and it's almost like you're the only person I text like this. It's like that line. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, because I was born yesterday.
It's so true. Or the line where people say, I've never said this to anybody else, and then you realize that they've told that story to 16 people while dating. Oh my gosh, the worst.
It's their game plan.
Oh, okay. They still have nudes of their ex on their phone for memories. I can't even say that one without laughing. Nudes of their ex for memories. Will, you're thinking about this one?
I mean, everyone has a hidden folder on their phone, don't they? It's that person. It's that person's business. What's up in the hidden folder?
Oh my gosh, would you be? But if you found that hidden folder, would you be okay with it?
I feel like the rules are different for gay men.
Okay, well, educate me. I love this. Okay, tell me, what are the rules for gay men? Is it okay to have a hidden folder of your ex?
I mean, I don't necessarily know if it's okay, but I do know that gay men tend to be a little more generous and charitable when it comes to naked pictures,
Okay,
D
yeah, I could
pics.
see that.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe not with the X though. When you put it like that, but I mean, what if like what's in their hidden folder? We want to know.
Interesting. I think there is a difference though, like a hidden folder of like images and a hidden folder of your ex partner.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird if it's an X. I'm kind of like I'm convincing myself to say this is a red flag, but it's like, but it's
No,
like,
if it's not a red flag, then
yeah. I
no,
mean, I
please.
don't know. I think that probably would
I
be
love
cool.
it.
I mean, I guess my first thought was like naked pictures, explicit pictures, but I have to remind myself that it is an X, so that's probably not a good look.
No, and especially if you're also saying that it's for memories. If it's something that you find and they're like, "Oh, I forgot to delete it,"
Mhm.
that's very different. But if they tell you it's for memories, I don't think you need a naked picture of your ex-partner to remember the memories.
Clear out
Like,
that Google Drive when you end that relationship. Clear it out, baby.
clear it out. Just get a whole new email and identity. Change everything. Okay, they don't believe in monogamy, but expect you to be exclusive. Why am I getting all the red flags?
I think that's a blatant red flag, right? It's
That
like
is a
how
huge red flag.
again, it boils down to double standards. You can't operate a successful, healthy relationship when you have one set of rules and I have others.
Yeah, no, thank you. Okay, they never want to have sex with the lights on. This
This
is
is
a
so weird. That's such a
we
weird.
need like a blue one. We need a blue flag that's like an in between.
We do, yeah. I don't know. That's it's just.
What do
I
you think?
guess I think the
Would you date someone? Would you date someone that would like not have sex with the lights on?
so first of all, I don't necessarily like a lot of lights on in a room at one time anyway, whether we're having sex or not having sex. Like at night, I like the
Want the
light.
like floodlights.
Yeah, like I don't want, fluorescent lighting while we're doing it, right? Like it's just like, but I don't know that the way that question is positioned, it almost sounds more like an insecurity thing, maybe, as to why they want the lights off, as compared to on.
Mhm.
Take Me by Candlelight.
Oh, I like that. Yes, candlelight for sure. That's great lighting. I think, yeah, I would say that's more of an insecurity thing. And I would say there needs to be a little bit more of conversation, getting
Yeah.
comfortable with each other, and maybe the openness to having sex with some sort of lighting, maybe.
Yeah, I just don't see, like, I don't know, like when I hear the lights on, it makes me think of like a bright big bedroom, and it's like, okay, like I'm not going to be very relaxed in that moment. I feel like it's got to be something where it's a little dim, little candlelight, just make sure it's good lighting.
like
That's what
it.
I'll say.
Good lighting.
Yeah.
Good lighting. I like it. Oh, okay. Wow. They call you bro or dude during sexy time.
What do you? Okay, I
Oh.
have to look. No, I have to look at you. I'm like, bro or dude. What would you do if a guy called you bro or dude? I want to know because there's this whole thing now in like, I guess, current culture that like there's not necessarily like a sex associated with bro or dude, right? Like,
Yeah, no, during sexy time, no. It's funny because I have a friend that I've been friends with since kindergarten, and we basically grew up as like siblings,
mhm.
and she calls me dude or bro all the time. But I could never imagine that in the bedroom setting. That would be very strange.
Yeah, don't call me that. Call
Unless
me,
you're role playing.
yeah, no, call me good boy. Call me daddy.
Oh, I like it. Okay. Oh, the DMs are gonna get spicy
I
tonight.
think I might have to like not tell my family about this episode.
Daddy or good boy, I like it. Okay, not bro, not dude. We're all learning something new about Will today. All
Yeah,
right.
why not, right? Let's go
Do you
let's
have
go all the
more?
way in. Okay, so I guess I have a few more here, right? Okay. They get mad if you don't send them proof pics when you say you're out with friends. Oh, yeah,
that's
red
a red
flag. Red flag. It's like you're in a relationship, you're out with someone, and you need to prove that. Like that's just, there's no trust there. There's no trust in that relationship.
That's cringy. No, thank you. Unless there's been like trust broken already, there should be none of that. No.
Now I'm getting all the spicy questions. They want you to make a sex tape, but refuse to let you keep a copy.
Oh, okay. So here's my thought. And I know this is going to sound so gender biased. I can understand why a girl who's having sex with a boy and making a sex tape wouldn't want the boy to keep a copy. Is that mean? That's bad.
Is that because you're saying like it's the locker room talk, or they're at the bar having wings and beer and they're showing videos?
Yeah, like I think there's a difference there, right? Like I think there's a difference of like how do you know that once you break up that will be like destroyed? Do you know what I mean? Or like not sent out. And there's so much about like revenge porn out there.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, statistically, it is heterosexual men that put revenge porn on the internet. So as a female, I wouldn't give a copy out.
As a male, I'll be honest, I think that if somebody wanted to make a sex tape with me, as I'm laughing as I'm saying this, I think that the only way that it would be able to be done is if both sides were on the same page. I'm not going to be able to do something like that with someone. Because I just don't know what that other, like you said, even whether or not we were still together or not together, I just don't know what that other person would do with that. And, you know, if they would just post that all over social media and I don't know, like, can you lose your job for that now or no?
Oh, I have no idea. For posting a sex like video?
Like, yeah, if your workplace yeah, you could, right? If your like depending on the workplace, if they found out that you were, you know, posting that stuff online, like I think from a brand perspective, I think
I don't know though. I actually don't know if employment law would.
So you know what's
allow that.
interesting?
It's like your side hustle.
There was someone that I knew who was working like in my former career and was wanting to do some things on OnlyFans. And I don't think that was able to happen.
But I wonder though, because that was like a personality thing, like because you were in media, I wonder if that's part of the contract because you're like a brand. But there's also been there's been teachers fired for OnlyFans and things like that. I don't know, actually. I don't know what the rules around it are right now. But I mean, tons of people do it. And I guess it's one of those things like unless somebody finds out.
Yeah.
I always find it funny though when teachers get caught because somewhat that means that a parent or another teacher or administrator found it. So really who's the
real loser here, right?
Right?
You're the one searching at my OF. So yeah. No, it's true. I think that that's like the other situation was definitely something with you know, obviously a bit of a liability there for a company or corporation.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, so they introduce you as their friend to everyone, even after months of dating.
That's a red flag. Yeah.
The only reason I would let that bypass is if you were in, say, a gay relationship or a lesbian relationship, and then maybe you know you were younger and it was early on, and you weren't telling them that you were in a relationship with this person, because I've seen that before. Or I've seen people like, you know, kind of feeling out the family on those Christmases, and then it's like, okay, this is my friend. And then like by the end of the Christmas, you're like, well, that's actually my boyfriend. Oh, we knew, you know, that sort of thing, right? But I mean,
that makes sense. But that's a conversation though. You warn your partner about that. You like let them know that that's what's going to happen. You don't just surprise them with calling them your friend every time you go out.
I know. Yeah. Here's my bro. Here's my bro.
Here's my bro. This dude's great.
Okay. Oh it's getting spicy now. They have a kink they refuse to tell you about until you're in bed.
Like in bed, and then they show you what the kink is? What? So
I guess what this is saying is like they have a kink they will not tell you about, but they're saying once we're in bed, I'm gonna let you know what my kink is, but I can't tell you until we go to bed.
Okay, I'm gonna go with green, but only because there's no reason. Like, as long as they're not like doing something to you without your consent, it can still be really hot to talk about it in bed while things are happening,
Yeah, you
right?
know what?
And
I'm
then
gonna agree
people
with you.
also,
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on that one too,
right?
because unless
Yeah.
you're, saying, okay, this kink is gonna come out when we're in bed, and you're gonna have no say, and you're not gonna be able to stop it from happening. Like, that's not cool. But if you're like, I want to tell you more about it while we're in bed, and then if you're into it, then for sure, I think that could be a turn on, right? Depending on what
Yeah,
the
because
kink
once you're
was.
like in it, you're excited, you're getting the conversation going, you're both like together. Yeah, it can feel more comfortable talking about it when things are already going, right? Instead of like we're sitting at coffee in the morning and I'm telling you about this like deep dark kink that I have and then just laying it out there. Yeah, I don't think that's a red flag.
Quite literally laying it out there.
Laying it out there.
So this one's a little tamer, but I can predict what you're going to already say. They expect you to pay for all of the dates because they bring other things to the table. I think that's a red flag.
Oh my God.
Red flag.
Yeah, no thank you.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Toronto dating scene.
Yeah, it does. It really does. This is another thing too, which is kind of like we kind of touched upon this a little bit. So I'm thinking that the whole work wife thing has a bit of a more intense meaning. They joke about having a work wife, but you've never met her. So again, this is the work wife thing is so trippy because it's like I don't know, like the way that this is being positioned, it's almost sounding like someone that you're. It's not just like that bestie at the office, which I think is confusing because if you look at a lot of the things that are online right now, like a lot of the jokes and the reels and the TikToks are like more so that best friend, that ride or die in the office, not like the receptionist that you're banging, right?
Exactly. No, I think that if you have a work wife and you really love that person as like a great friend, you always introduce, or you allow there to be like openness and transparency. Always. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Do you have any more for me?
I do. Okay. Oh, goodness. Okay. They refuse to make any noise in bed and they are completely silent.
Oh, I like some noise. I
There's no
like I like I
feedback.
like I like a moan. I like a bit of a little bit of a sound, bit of a soundtrack. Give me a soundtrack.
Something.
Yeah,
Yes.
give me
A
yeah. Not like
soundtrack.
are
Loud
you
and proud.
stoic? Are you like am I with a dummy in the bedroom? Like is this like
Okay, imagine if the person in having sex in the dark is also silent and you marry that together.
I'm at that point I might as well just be by myself. I'm probably gonna have more fun anyway.
100%. Probably.
Lights
Yes.
off or on. Doesn't matter.
Oh my God. So much gas. Okay. Um, they finish, but they don't check if you did. Okay, I like it. Good for you. Okay, so
You need to
oh,
communicate it. You need to communicate that it's pardon the pun, but that it's coming. You need to communicate that it's on its way. It's traveling. It's almost out. And then see. I don't know. See if you're how far are you off?
yes. Yeah,
Is it
I want
that way for straight couples?
you're so worried about us now. No. So unfortunately, no, a lot of men don't check on their partners on whether or not they've finished or not. So that's why like it's a red and a green flag because a lot of people don't know how to ask or they don't know how to like communicate that. They don't know what to like say. Um, and quite frankly, what I've heard a lot is they one will finish and then they'll kind of be like done and over it and they
Yeah.
don't want to know if the other person has or not because then they'd have to do more work.
That's just a lazy partner, though, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah, unfortunately.
If that's you,
Yeah,
we're calling you out right now in the Spill the Tea podcast.
yeah, always check on your partner. That's part of
Yeah.
aftercare, right? It's part of like you have sex with a person, if you finished, good for you, but check on your partner, have that like aftercare. And if you're not willing to do that, well then there's toys for that or there's like
Hmm.
other ways that you can communicate making sure that everyone leaves satisfied. But I'm sure you've heard there's like this There's a huge movement right now about the orgasm discrepancy. So you know how like
Hmm.
the pay discrepancy obviously went like viral
Yeah.
between like men and women, but there's an orgasm discrepancy. More men have orgasms than women, at least in partnered sex.
Yeah, I could see that. I
Yeah.
like just from like things that I've heard, I could see that.
Yeah. Okay, so it's not like that is what you're saying for the queer community.
I think
You guys
that
are so
for
much better than us.
I think some days we're not, and it's like it really depends on the person and people. I think that when it comes to like at least two men, that's just more of a thing that we do. Like again, I was kind of joking about it a few minutes ago, but are you about to? Where are you? And where is it going? like I don't. Like just let me know. Let me know.
Let me know. Let me
Let
know
me
if I
know.
need a towel.
And
I love it.
again, that is a conversation, that probably would have come up before your.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not though. It depends because some people it doesn't take long to get to that first stage, but
I like it.
yeah, and more communicate. Again, the whole thing, like I feel like almost every topic we're talking about, just communicate, communicate, communicate. Doesn't matter what it is.
So much communication. But that actually leads me to my next one. They dirty talk, but it's cringy.
Ooh. See, that is so subjective and so personal.
Yeah. I
I
think that's a great play because I think at least they're trying.
they're trying, they're trying. And I mean, is it bad to say that it's only cringy if you're not really sexually attracted to the person?
Oh, yeah. No, I could see that. It's true. Yeah.
Because
Because things that you,
if I
yeah.
find you hot and if I'm attracted to you, you can you can probably get away with a lot. But I feel like if someone who you're not interested in, which I know is flaky to say because you're assuming that you're in at least, if not a relationship, you're in a spicy scenario with this person. It's like yeah, I don't know. I think that's how it
No,
is.
I think that you're like bang on because it's true. If you're like really sexually attracted to someone or like you really have that passion and love between the two of you, it's true. They could do anything and
Hmm.
you'd still be okay with having sex with them. Whereas like on a first date where you just meet this person, maybe you're having a one night stand, if they were to like breathe in the wrong direction, you'd be like, I'm done. You get the like ick much faster. So yeah, no, if you're sexually attracted to that person and you're involved,
Yeah,
they could probably do anything, including cringy, dirty talk.
I do agree with that 100%.
Okay, let me see. Ooh, oh, this one hurts my heart. They say I love you for the first time during sex. Well, I want to see yours first.
I am going to say that that is a red flag.
Oh, thank God.
No, I'm going to say that's a red flag because to me, that reeks of desperation and just grasping onto straws in this scenario. I think that the first, no, trust me, again, I've said this like how many times in the podcast. I'm not a relationship expert by any means. You are the therapist here. I'm just playing one on a podcast. But I don't think that that is the appropriate moment for that to be the first time that you say,
No, no, it's really not. No. And I think it makes everybody feel really uncomfortable, to be honest with you. I mean, I've had instances like friends that have told me that it's like come out, like
mm-hmm.
it's like an exorcism that it's come out. But I think it just makes everything so much harder after that.
I think that it takes the passion away from what you're doing.
Yes. Yeah, for
And I think
sure.
that it's like, not that
Mhm.
you not that at some point when you're having sex with someone, those words later on down the line couldn't come out. But I just don't know if that would be the ideal first time to say those words.
Probably not. Okay, well, this is my last one. And I'm
Okay.
wondering actually if there's a difference here between like hetero and like queer community. They refuse to go down on you, but expect it in return.
I mean, I feel like in the queer community, again, I always have to just reiterate speaking as gays. I mean, usually that's not a problem either way.
Oh, see, again, the queer community is so much better.
It's not a problem. It's like, it's not really a thing. Like, I've had conversations with, female friends of mine who are in heterosexual relationships who will do it. I'll be honest, I think that there's a large amount of women that I know who are not fans of doing it. They just do it because they are, they feel like they want to be satisfying and pleasing their partner. There's a million other things they would rather do. Whereas like in the queer community, I mean, this is probably not exactly breaking gay news to anybody, but it's like men like generally enjoy that. So it's like,
okay,
but
but you know what?
Yeah, Maria?
Okay, I'm gonna say I want to debunk the idea that women don't enjoy going down on men, only because I think it's something that we don't talk about enough. We're not educated on how doing it, quote unquote, properly, and we don't have practice. Let's call it that. Like, I think that it's one of those things that unfortunately everyone, it's like anything with sex. We're just kind of thrown into it. And it's like we all expect to know what we're doing. When women learn and their partners are reciprocal into that learning experience of like oral sex between each other, you can learn to enjoy it and love it and like grow more intimate with your partner in that way. I think unfortunately it's the societal pressure of like most people still think it's like a dirty thing to do, but also unfortunately a lot of people don't know how to do it properly. And so then it leads to like being uncomfortable, being unhappy, not wanting to do it more often, not having feedback between partners. So I would say that I think a lot of people that say they don't enjoy it, there are a pocket of people that, yes, 100%, they've tried everything, they hate it. But I think there's also just a pocket of people that haven't been taught to do it properly.
And that's fair. And I just want to kind of reiterate, those are just experiences and conversations that I have kind of had with friends of mine on it. It doesn't mean that necessarily reflects like what I personally think about every woman, because I do know women who do, who have shared with me that they enjoy that part of their intimate life.
I think that's why like it'd be really cool to talk about that one day on the podcast of like the differences, right? Of like when we learn to have good sex, we have greater and greater sex. But if we're doing it the same every time and it's uncomfortable or it hurts or we don't like doing it, then of course we're not going to want to do it again.
And it's the whole thing, right, of like still in 2025, there's still that sort of expectation where if certain people, like especially with women, if women are enjoying something that maybe if they grew up in a conservative household or they grew up in a really religious household, like, good girls don't do that, right? Quote unquote, good girls don't do that.
Yeah, it's so true. I loved these. Thanks for sharing these.
And thank you for sharing them as well. I mean, I feel like we were mostly, for the most part, on the same page. And I think that like a lot of this is subjective too, depending on how you want to define some of these issues as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm curious to see what other listeners also come up with, or if there's other red light, green light, red flag. Why do I keep saying light? Red flag, green flag, and I would love to hear more of them too, because I think we had a lot of red flags today.
And you know what? Yeah, if you are watching this right now and you have a scenario, and maybe this has been an argument or conversation in your relationship or with your friends, your girlfriends, your boyfriends, whatever, let us know. And then maybe we can answer those on a future episode. And don't forget to give us a rating, 5 out of 5, and subscribe so that you will get that immediate notification when the next Spill the Tea episode comes up. And that's a tea.
That's it for this episode of Spill the Tea. If you loved what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and follow us for more candid conversations. Got a burning question or topic you want us to cover? Slide into our DMs. We're always here to spill the tea. Follow us on socials at the Spill the Tea Pod, at Will Nash on Air, and at Sex Off the Pedestal.